Hey everyone, today we're going to do part 2 of the Buick LaCrosse paint, and we're going to do the roof. Now, as I said in the previous video, the hood is good. The trunk we've already done, and let's look at the roof. I mean, this is cleaned off. I just washed it. You can just see it just looks terrible, absolutely terrible. So what we're going to use, we're going to do it a little bit differently than we did the trunk, just for an experiment. On the trunk, we used this twice, 3 times even, with this buffer. And then I put a top coat of this black wax. This time we're going to clean it. We're going to use this to clean it. And then we're going to cut it with that. And then we're going to put wax on it. See if it works a little bit better. I mean, you can just feel it. It's just dirty, and look at close up. Look at how bad the scratches are. So that's our mission. Let's get busy. Okay, we're gonna do this in sections. I got all the dirt off the roof. Still some, and we're gonna use this cleaner wax first. So we're gonna use this pad, these types, kind of terry cloth pad for the polish, or cleaner polish wax. This is actually all 3, but primarily today we're going to use this as a cleaner. So, in case you did not see my previous video, what we're going to do, I'm going to put the polisher down. I'm going to move down actually and start at the back. I'm going to put the polisher down before we turn it on. Alright? That way it stops it from spraying everywhere. Okay, so that's the first step. Now, it says basically let it dry at this point and then take it off. But what I like to do, and this is your own discretion, I like to put a second pad on, the actual buffer pad. Hold on, let me get it on. And run over it again with this. It's not going to dry it, and it's not going to dry. It's going to take off the excess though, and help work it in just a little bit more. Alright, now I'm going to let it dry, and I'll take it off next step. I'll be back. Alright, the cleaner is pretty much dry. Let's take it off. Alright, the cleaner's off. I'm going to get a close-up for you. Let's see the difference. Okay, so here's, tough to say it, but you can see the line. So to the right of the screen is not cleaned, to the left is cleaned. It's actually pretty good. It's actually real good. It's not perfect by any stretch. You can still see cloudiness, but compared to that, it's actually quite good. So, you know, I could just try another coat of cleaner and then wax it, but we're doing an experiment today. So I'm gonna use the compound and see what it does. I'll be back. All right, this is the rubbing compound. It's an old can, but hopefully it's still good. Yep, now this is a paste, so it's gonna go on quite different. Good point. Yeah, it's kind of a dry paste at this point, but this stuff, this cuts. This is gonna cut into the paint. This is almost like wet sanding. So we're not gonna stay too long in any one place. Okay, unlike the wax, we don't need to wait for this to dry, so we're gonna take it off. And the truth is, you don't want this to dry on the paint. Quite difficult to get it off when it dries. Okay, I'm gonna get a towel now and quickly wipe that down. All right, you can probably see that the finish is now less blotchy, but it's not shiny, and that's because that's not car wax. You don't wax your car with this stuff. You use it when your finish gets bad. So the last step here is actually to wax the roof. I just want to make sure I've got all of that compound off before I wax. Okay, I'm going to grab the camera. I'm going to take a look. This is post cleaner and post compound. So there's your before, here's your after. The compound actually, I think, works really well. It's not perfect, but it also strips all the wax off it. So what I traditionally wax this thing with is this. So on the trunk, I kind of cheated and used the black car wax, the stuff with that black ink in it. So this time we're just going to use Tech Wax 2.0, which is what I waxed the rest of the car with. So let me get to that and we'll see how it looks. This is shaken up well, and I'm going to apply it by hand, which is how I would apply it if I were just waxing the car. So I'm going to see ultimately how effective everything was. This is not heavy wax by any stretch. It's pretty simple to apply. And it dries pretty quickly. My applicator here is quite dry. It's absorbing more wax than I'm putting down on the car. This, just put down little circular patterns. All right, let's let it dry. And in a few minutes, I'll take it off. It dries pretty quick, 5-10 minutes or so. It's a very light coat of wax, so it may require a second coat. Let's let it dry and I'll be back. Now this stuff does not take long to dry, a few minutes, 5-10 minutes. So when I take it off with a t-shirt, and again, I stress, this is not a heavy wax. So I may need 2 coats and it may leave swirl marks and all that. We'll see. And it looks like it is leaving swirl marks. Well, it's slippery now. It doesn't feel grainy or anything like that. It doesn't look ideal though. Got a lot of swirl marks in it. Weird. So this is a good time to say, let's cheat. Let's use the polisher and try it. All right, so for the second coat, I'm gonna actually use the polisher. All right, let's let that dry. I think I'll take it off with the buffer too. Might as well. All right, let's look, see if it's dry. It's actually not quite dry yet. Feels dry, but it's not quite powdery yet. Still sticky a little bit, so we're gonna wait. Okay, let's test it again. Yeah, it's dry. Except for where it's really heavy, it's dry. So we're gonna use the buffer to take this off. I've got a clean pad on here. quick wipe down the t-shirt to get rid of any dust that's on there. All right, let's see what our results are compared with the other side, which I've overlapped quite a bit, so it's not exactly dead center. But it's because of that, the white, it doesn't look nearly as good as it really is. But as a contrast, that's how it was. And that's how it is. Maybe what I'll do later is I'll back it out in the sun. But I don't want to do any of this in the sun. But interestingly, I've got 2 coats of wax on this, and it's not that slick. I expected it to be a lot smoother. It's not sandy. The dirt and all that is out. But you don't really feel the wax too much. It's not slippery like it usually is after you wax with these things, which is interesting. But overall, I'd have to say it's pretty good. All right, here I am about to start the other side, and here you get a very good perspective of how bad it is before I start versus that. So funny. This is pretty bad. So I'm going to hit it with 1 coat of cleaner wax just to get the dirt out of the paint, and then we're going to go to the number 7. We've now done 2 different methods of clear coat repair. So what we're going to do is we're going to go upstairs, and I'm going to do a top-down shot, and we're going to be able to see the trunk and the roof and see which actually came out better. Be right back. Okay, so here's a view from up above of the trunk and the hood to see which actually came out better. And honestly, the trunk looks good, looks really good. The roof, though improved, is still very cloudy. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back and use the cleaner wax, a couple more coats on the roof to fix it. Okay, we're back. Time to wrap this up. It's pretty clear to me that the first method of using 3 coats of cleaner wax and then the black top coat wax actually gave me a much better look. In fact, it looks excellent, especially from up on top. The method using the number 7 and the cleaner wax, it worked okay. It certainly improved it, but I don't think it's done. So as I said, I'm gonna go back and do a couple more coats of cleaner wax and re-top coat it, because it doesn't look good enough for me. And I know, based on what I do with the trunk, that I can get it to look better. So I'll post a link to my first video, which shows you the method which worked better on this. And hey, if you got some clouded clear coat, we now have a method to, at the very least, improve it 80–90%. So don't be intimidated. Just go out, get busy. Take care.